Hey there, I'm Sherry Dixon, and this is Strong Inside and Out, the show where we focus on all of the strategies and tips that will empower you to design your best life, living strong inside and out. So, welcome to our very first episode of Strong Inside and Out podcast. And as we are transitioning, I do want to share that I will still release this on the YouTube channel, just so that those of you who are transitioning over can definitely check out my information. And the great news is, I am both on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So I want to be sure that you come and check me out on both of those platforms because, a podcast is pretty amazing. Number one, I have to say I'm super excited that I get this experience to be able to do this. Number two, I want to say I feel a little bit in awe to be on a platform with so many other great podcasters that I have been listening to for a while. And finally, I just have to say, it is so easy to turn on that podcast when I drive in the morning to school, when I drive home in the afternoon from school, when I'm walking the dog out in the neighborhood, and just be able to listen to all of the great information and advice that others have to give. It feels like I'm in heaven learning so many things about the world that I can definitely go back and put to use right away. So I am hoping that Strong Inside and Out can do that same thing for you. Now, of course, as I said, as we transition from YouTube over just to the podcast, there will be some things that were covered on the YouTube channel that I don't know if I'll be able to upload onto the podcast, but I am going to definitely learn and continue to learn and try to do my best. I'm telling you, technology is getting me a little bit. At 51, I look at these younger people or the people who use this kind of technology every day, and I think, if I could only be like them. I promise you, the struggle is real. But I am learning and I promise to commit to continuing to learn so that I can get out the great information. So this week, and like I do every week, I focused on an area that I feel makes me a strong woman, not just on the inside, but the outside. And originally, I was thinking about a topic, something with exercise this week, and really how exercise plays a role in my life. And as I was thinking that through, I started to jot down some ideas that I had because I've always been an avid exerciser. I'm a runner. I was going to be a PE teacher when I was a young kid. I played sports in high school. I always did like the adult little catch up games when I was in college. I've refereed, I've coached, I've done a lot of different things like that. And so to me, physical activity has always been very important. And so I was writing down all of my thoughts on how I could talk about my role of the role I have exercise play in my life, which is very important, as I said, not just to keep myself and my body healthy inside and outside, but also it helps with stress and it's free mental health. It really is free therapy. And so I thought, well, I can write about that. And then I thought, I don't know. And I was just kind of going back and forth on it. And then I sat down Thursday evening because I decided to give myself a little mental health break. And I poured a glass of wine and I cuddled up with one of the Bravo TV shows. And yes, I am I am an avid drama show watcher. I really am. People wouldn't believe that about me, but I do like to lose myself in the drama. And of course, Thursday was no exception. And I was watching one of my favorite shows that I had recorded. Um, I heard one of the characters mention why she exercised. And it was after a segment on the show where they were talking about um, their workout that they had just done. So it was two girls, and she said, "Well, have you seen my fiance? I have to keep up with him." And it really made me stop and think for a minute because I'm going to be honest, I think I would have thought something like that in the past. So my ex-husband, I mean, he was pretty decent looking and very in shape. He was a runner as well. And, I'm going to be honest with you. I think there were times where I would skip a meal so that I could look good for the beach weekend that we were going to, or I would hit the 2 workouts a day so that I could lose the weight or trim up or, get that body that I wanted to get. I wasn't really a dieter, but I think that there were times in my life that I would kind of go to extremes. And I had to quickly learn that that can't be the role of exercise. It really can't. It can't be the role of health in your life because it's a really bad mindset to get into and it really can mess a person up. And then I started to think, well, when I was living like that, who was I living for? Who was I making decisions for? Who was I doing all of the things in my life for? Where what I wasn't doing them for me. I was doing them for society, or I was doing them so my friends would think I looked a certain way, or I was doing them so that my ex-husband would think, oh, she's got this certain kind of body. I wasn't doing them for me. And again, that's not been my whole life, but I think as women, we can all say that probably we've had a period of time that this has happened to us. And, for whatever reason, society, pressures in our home, the list could go on and on and on. I could continue. But really getting to a point where you realize you're not living for yourself. You're not making the greatest decisions for your own body. And being able to say enough is enough. And I say that with a question mark because do your boundaries come into that? Does your communication style come into that? There's so many things that we could expand on today with this topic. But really, I really think about the limiting beliefs that it causes in a person. So let me just give you an example. I remember that my ex-husband and I had gone to a concert, and it was a local band here in the Houston area, and they were just starting to come out. And he knew the lead singer, the lead drummer, or somebody, and I didn't know anybody. But of course, I'm always up for a good band, good concert. So we went, and the outfit that I was wearing at the time, it was very flattering. And at the time, I was very thin, and you could see some abs going on. And at one point, you could find a picture of me and my abs. And the person that my ex husband knew, he made the comment, "This is going on our CD cover." And I just thought, wow, look at me. I've come this far. Look at me go. And then the pressure that came onto that, because then I remember the constant worry of, oh, should I eat this? Oh, I didn't work out today. What's that going to do to my body? Oh, this, oh, that. And I remember sitting at the doctor's office one day for just an annual checkup. And of course, we have to weigh, how it gets done. And I didn't want to look at the scale because I was too afraid of what it was going to say, even though I knew that it was going to be just fine. In my head, I knew that, but my irrationality at the time I think because of the pressures, it really got to me, and it really, really caused me to start to kind of go a little nuts, kind of go a little crazy, if I can say that myself. And I remember texting him and I said, "Do you think I look fat?" And I had to stop because that was the last thing I wanted to ever have in my life. And I think that was a turning moment for me because I didn't want to become that girl that was worried that everybody thought she was fat. I just didn't want to be that. And then it got to a point where, well, how dare me get there? What caused me to get here? Oh, I'm sure it was so and so's comment. And then I started to find I had that resentment. It might not have been valid because when you're irrational, of course, nothing is valid. But I started to resent. I resented that band and I resented my ex husband. And I was having all of these negative feelings about how I got to a point of viewing my body differently and viewing the role of physical activity differently and viewing my meal planning and how I was eating and just everything about how I was taking care of myself differently. And I wanted to put the blame on everybody else. And then I had to stop and say, no, 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 no. You got here. You got here on your own because I was losing myself in what I perceived to be everybody else's thoughts, whether they were real or not. Our perceptions are our reality, but I was losing myself in this and I was becoming pretty miserable. So, the thing about life is we all have these ups and downs, and nobody's world is perfect by any means. And I think as women, we go through these ups and downs a little bit more because of that pressure from society. But here's how I got myself out. So let me just share with you 3 things that I really try to stay focused on. And even now, I'm going through menopause. I'll be honest with you. At 51, I'm hoping to be close to being on the other side. But for a little while, it had been a rough road. And one thing that I noticed most is that I have some body changes. Now, I'm not completely out of control and I'm still working out and exercising and everything is good, but your body composition changes. And where you might have had muscle before, it's not there. And where you might have been able to build muscle quickly, it doesn't happen as fast. And I've even noticed with cutting down on my running through the summer because it's been real hot in Houston this summer. I'm back at it now, but I'm having to build back up. And building back up has not been a normal practice for me. Even when I would give myself a little break from running, I could jump back on the bandwagon pretty quickly. So as I sat down and just processed all of this and remembered how I got myself out of that back into a state of feeling a positive self-image and putting the role of exercise back into perspective, I did these 3 things. So the first thing, and I definitely recommend this to you, you do you. So if you want to be a 5-day-a-week workout person, great. If you want to run a marathon, fantastic. If you want to go do water aerobics, all power to you. If you want to do spin class, whatever it is you want to do, you do it. Don't do it because somebody else said you should do this. Now, of course, your doctor might recommend a little physical activity, and that's a little different. But if someone's telling you you're not okay because you don't do this, that's a problem. Don't let that drive your life. You design the life you want and just be it, do it, and be proud of it. And you know what? We all have the right to do that. So that's the greatest thing. Piece of advice number 2, cut out the noise. Now, what does that mean? It could mean so many different things. Visual noise, actual auditory noise, cut it out. So if you are scrolling constant on social media and looking at these women who are photoshopped and filtered and all of these things, and you're thinking, I need to look like that. Why can't I be more like that? And starting to get yourself into a tailspin, stop looking at social media, or limit your social media, or limit what you're looking at. If you are in a circle of people that view exercise in a maybe not as positive manner, and you feel yourself getting pulled into that, because we can be influenced so easily, don't hang around in that circle. If you feel like reading and learning more and more about weight loss, and you want to try the next greatest trend, and then it doesn't work, and then you're depressed and it's just not working for you, all of those pieces, those are pieces of noise. And I definitely say cut out the noise. Now, does that mean stay in your house and be a hermit and don't interact with anybody? No, but you get to decide. Like I mentioned in the first piece of advice, you do you. So if you decide you still want to go be social and be active, that's great. But when that noise gets there, that's you feel pulling yourself back into that place where you're not in a good, okay place, remove yourself, let go of it. And then finally, give yourself a little grace. Now, I've had to learn this for sure over the years. As a recovering perfectionist, yep, I said I'm recovering, but as a recovering perfectionist, I had to really start to reframe my whole thought processes from I need to be perfect to I need to try my best, or I need to make progress. But having that weight of being perfect, y'all, I'm going to tell you, it can be detrimental to you. Your physical health, your emotional health, your social health. It is very, very hard. And I can only tell you because I've been there. Giving yourself the grace to not have to be perfect. Let yourself be human, because we're not all perfect. And let yourself experience these ups and downs and trials. Try it. If you do like to do the marathon training, I am one. I'm not running full marathons because my day job takes too much time, but I run a half marathon every year. I love the thrill of it. I love the structure of the training. I love being out on the roads early morning or in the evening and hearing just my feet pounding on the cement. I love being able to be out in nature in that way. And I love the stress relief that it gives me. But that's me. I'm doing me. My daughter, she tried it. And she and I are a lot alike, but she doesn't like it like I like it. Now, will she go to a spin class and spend 2 or 3 hours at a spin class? Absolutely. That's what she likes to do. So again, give yourself that grace that you don't have to be someone else, be you. Cut out all the noise that's out there trying to get you to do what everybody else is doing. And then remember, you don't have to be perfect. Progress and doing your best every day is way more important than being perfect, because nobody's perfect and none of us can live up to that expectation. So those are my thoughts for this week on my first podcast episode. I got all choked up there. And episode 20 on the YouTube channel, both Strong Inside and Out. I appreciate y'all spending time with me, listening to my thoughts, letting me kind of ramble on a little bit. But most importantly, my goal is to help as many women as I possibly can in life. I set out to make a difference in the world by working with children in public education. And now my processes and my thoughts have changed to helping women like me who just need that extra mentor and that extra support to be their very best each and every day. So thanks for listening to this week's episode of Strong Inside and Out. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe. And if you know someone who would love it, let them know. And of course, follow me. Follow me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And you can also check out my website, findagirlandherdog.com. Until next time, have a great week and keep being strong inside and out.